Hello everybody. So this second video on statistics, I want to talk about medians, five number summaries, and an interquartile range. So essentially what we're doing is we're just talking about what are other ways you could talk about the center of a data set, the spread of a data set. Okay, so it's very, very similar to means and standard deviations, but obviously slightly different. So what is a median and how do you calculate it? Okay, what the median is it is the middle value when numbers are in numerical order. Okay, so you're finding the middle value when numbers are in numerical order. So we're going to line all of our numbers up. We're going to try and find the middle. Just like a mean, you're trying to find the average, you're trying to find the middle. It's the middle value when numbers are in numerical order. So here's how you calculate it. It kind of tells you a little bit in the definition there. What you're going to do is you're going to rewrite the numbers in numerical order. Because sometimes our data sets are not in numerical order from smallest to largest. We're going to go ahead and rearrange it, put them in numerical order. After that, we're just going to find the middle, which that might be a little bit abstract, but I think through an example we'll kind of focus in on what that means. So I have an example here in 7. It says find the median of the following data sets. So I have 13, 30, 16, 19. You get the point. The first thing we need to do is we need to put things in numerical order. So I'm going to start with my smallest number, work my way up. Now, you're going to think this task is pretty easy, and it is, but it's very careful to mess this up. So be very, very cautious when you're putting things in numerical order. Make sure you keep an eye out for the duplicates. So the first number we need would be a 13. After that, my next largest number I see is a 16. After that, I would need a 19. You see I'm underlining them. That helps me keep track of what numbers I've already used, and so I can kind of look and see which ones have I not used yet. So then would be 20, then 22, then 25, then 30, then 31. So the original data set had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different numbers. So this data set should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as well. So I'm covered. So we are in numerical order. We have to find the middle. So here's what I mean by that. There's kind of an easy way of doing it and a little bit more roundabout way. Some people can just look and find the exact middle. I'm someone that want to make sure I'm doing it correctly. So what I do is you could either use your fingers or 2 pens, whatever. I'm just going to count in. So these are my 2 outermost numbers. Then move in 1 each, so 16 and 30. Move in 1 each, 19 and 25. Move in 1 each, we're at 20 and 22. But I need to find the exact middle here, which would be between 20 and 22. So if you're stuck between 2 numbers, what you're going to have to do, so when in between 2 numbers, what you're going to do is you're going to find the average of those 2, just those 2 numbers. So to find my median, I'm stuck between 20 and 22. So what I need to do is just find what is the average of these 2 numbers. So again, the average is adding all the numbers together, so 20 and 22. Not all of them, just the ones I'm taking the average of. And then I'm going to divide by the total amount of numbers there, which is 2. So 20 plus 22 divided by 2. 20 plus 22 is 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21. So 21 is the median. Okay, so you're going to count your way in. If you're stuck between 2 numbers, take the average of just those 2 numbers. So what if we aren't stuck between two numbers. So here's just a quick example. Say I had 3, 7, 11, 18, 29, whatever. And you're finding the median of this. So there's your outer two, your next two. You're stuck, and your exact middle value is 11. So you don't need to find an average there. Okay. So when you count in, you land on the same number, then the median would be 11 here. When you count in, and there's no more values to go to, take the average of those two. Okay. So 21 is the median. What the median is going to do is another way of describing the center. So I could have taken the average of all these numbers and found the mean, or I could find the median, which is the exact middle value. Related to the median is something we call a 5-number summary. And in a future video, you'll see what we can do with a 5-number summary. So a 5-number summary, kind of the description is in the name. It is a summary of 5 different types of numbers that we can get from this data set. Okay, so there's 5 important takeaways you could get from a data set to get a 5-number summary. The 5-number summary consists of the min, which is the minimum if you want to write that in. Something we call quartile 1, which I'm going to represent as Q1. The median, which we just did. Quartile 3, which we're going to represent as Q3. And the maximum, which I'm going to just write as max. Okay, so here's what these numbers mean. The minimum is just the smallest value. So what is the smallest value in your data set? Which you could probably easily knock out this maximum now, because that is going to be the largest value in the data set. So smallest value, minimum, largest value is maximum. Easy enough. The median, we already know that. It's just the median of the data set. Okay, it's just the median of the data set. Q1 and Q3 are somewhat related, but you can't figure them out until you figure out your median. What Q1 is, so the median kind of splits your data in half. Okay, it finds the exact middle. What Q1 is it's going to be the median of the lower half of the data. Median of the lower half. Where Q3, you find your median, Q3 is going to be the median of the upper half. So that says median of the upper half. Okay, so minimum, smallest value, maximum, largest value. The median, exactly what we just did. Find the middle value. And then you're going to find Q1, which is the median of the lower half, Q3, which is the median of the upper half. So let's see that in an example. So I'm going to find a 5-number summary for the data set we just used in problem number 7. So I know I'm going to be doing medians, so the data needs to be in numerical order. So we're still going to use 13, 16, 19, 20, 22, 25, 30, and 31. Okay. Now, we already figured out a few pieces of information. One thing we already know is our median, and I like to draw a line in there to show that. Our median is between 20 and 22, which we found that our median is going to be exactly 21. So median, 21. The reason I draw a line in here, you'll see here in a second, it's going to help me with Q1 and Q3. I could also knock out my minimum. I can knock out my maximum. Minimum is just the lowest value. So the minimum is going to be 13. Maximum, the largest value, is going to be 31. Okay, so min, max, median, not too hard. Q1 and Q3 now. So Q1 is the median of the lower half. Q3 is the median of the upper half. So here's why I drew that line in. This line, and where I'm showing the median, it's going to split my data so I can see where's my lower half, where's my upper half. Here's my lower, there's my upper. So looking at the lower half only, so numbers from 20 down to 13, I'm just finding the median of those four numbers. So we have 13 and 20, then you move into 16 and 19, but there's no middle value there. So you would be finding the average there, the mean of 16 and 19. So you're going to do 16 plus 19 and divide by 2. That will give you Q1. So in a calculator, you can type in 16 plus 19, hit enter, divide by 2. You're going to get 17.5. That is Q1. To find Q3, you're going to do essentially the exact same thing, but just do the median of the upper half. So I'm looking at numbers above my median, which is 22, 25, 30, and 31. Find the median of these four. So there's my outer two, move in 25 and 30. You would move in again, so my median would be between 25 and 30, and that will be Q3. So I'm going to have to take 25 plus 30, divide by 2, and you're going to get 27.5. So our minimum is 13, Q1 17.5, median of 21, Q3 of 27.5, maximum of 31. These are just more numbers that can describe this data set. And in a future video, I'll tell you what you can do with these. Now, when we did mean and standard deviation, we talked about the mean, which is a measure of center, and then we talked about the standard deviation, which is a measure of spread. When you're doing median, usually that means there's this thing called the interquartile range that's not so far behind. Okay, so we're going to talk really quick to end this video what the interquartile range is, what it tells you, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with that previous data set. So the interquartile range, you'll see me abbreviate it as IQR. Very easy calculation. To do the IQR, you're going to take Q3 and subtract Q1. Take the third quartile, subtract the first quartile. What it's going to do is it's going to tell you the range of your quartiles. And what its purpose is, it's another way to describe the spread. So standard deviation talks about how spread out your data is. The interquartile range tells you how spread out your data is. So if you have large standard deviations and large interquartile ranges, that means your data is really, really spread out. If you have a small standard deviation or a small interquartile range, it means your data is not really spread out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the interquartile range for the data set in problem number 7. So I have kind of off screen here, and you could flip back and forth in your packet. I'm looking up what Q3 is, and I'm looking up what Q1 is. So when we did that 5-number summary, Q3 was 27.5. And we're going to subtract Q1, which we said was 17.5. 27.5 minus 17.5 gets you 10, and that is your interquartile range. Okay, so things that we've talked about. We've talked about the median. Put all your numbers in order, find that middle point. If it falls on exactly a value, perfect, that's your median. If you're stuck between two values, find the mean of those two values. We also discussed the 5-number summary. You have your minimum, Q1, which is the median of the lower half, your median, which we just talked about, Q3, which is the median of the upper half, and your maximum or largest value. And to wrap it all up, we can take the 5-number summary and produce something we call an interquartile range. Interquartile range, you're just going to take Q3 minus Q1. What does it tell you? It's going to tell you how spread out your data is. So again, that was medians, 5-number summary, and an interquartile range.